I wonder at what point we're finally going to realize that these guys are fascists. John Carl at ABC was talking about his latest move.
President Trump is expected to fire a top federal prosecutor for failing to file criminal charges against Letitia James, somebody who is obviously very high on the president's enemies list. The prosecutor is Eric Siebert. He is the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, arguably the most important U.S. attorney's office in the country, responsible for the bulk of counterterrorism and espionage cases. And his office has been investigating James for 5 months on allegations of mortgage fraud that have been brought by the administration. He found no evidence to go forward with the prosecution, declined to do so, and now we are told that he will be fired. ABC News has learned that the president intends to put somebody else in the U.S. Attorney's office who will more aggressively prosecute the New York Attorney General.
Somebody tell me how it's not fascist to then go and fire the U.S. Attorney that he appointed because he's not carrying out his empty political retribution. Because it's literally open and shut. It's exactly what it is. And it's been planned for a while. Look at this sorry sumbitch talking about it right around the time that he was getting elected.
Let me just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
We've been warning people on the show, Mike, this isn't the same Trump administration. Stop messing around. Don't rig elections. Don't illegally vote. Don't try the funny business, because we know the team this time and they are not effing around.
In case you guys couldn't recognize, that's Trump attorney and was going to be one of the leading candidates to be attorney general, Mike Davis, right around the time that he was getting elected. And you probably can't recognize him because his head is so far up Donald Trump's ass as he's making all these threats like he's a tough guy. Look at his face. It's another weak son of a bitch. It's another weak guy who threatens people because he's got nothing else there. Mike Davis is a bitch. That's why he came around talking all that. Oh, Big Tish James. You'd get your ass kicked if you actually say something to somebody's face in the streets about that. But he can talk on Benny Johnson's show about how tough and big and bad he is. This is why they're so afraid of Letitia James, because she doesn't give a damn either. This is what she said at the time.
I congratulate the President-elect Donald Trump. And if possible, we will work with his administration. But we will not compromise our values or our integrity or our principles. We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before. We faced this challenge before, and we use the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again. Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law. And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
Isn't it weird that it's offensive for a fascist president to be upset at the New York Attorney General talking about she's going to continue to stand for the rule of law and protect the people of the state, doing her job? He doesn't like that. Similar to how he's suddenly calling anti-fascism terrorists. If you're against fascism, you're a terrorist, but you're only a terrorist to a fascist. Yo, at this point, it's not even us calling him a fascist anymore. It's him calling himself a fascist. He's against people who are against fascism. You know, if we put that equation together, we'll understand that he's a fascist. So I'm going to run more of Letitia James because this is what's really upsetting Donald Trump and his fragile ego and his very thin skin. A strong woman who's talking to him about who he really is and how she's not going to back down.
The allegations are baseless. The allegations are nothing more than a revenge tour. And as you mentioned, my office was successful in securing a $454 million judgment against Donald Trump and others for exaggerating the value of his assets. He engaged in a pattern and practice of fraud. And the interest is accruing each and every day while the case is on appeal in the First Department. It's important that individuals know that this is nothing more than the continuation of the tour. He went after law firms, universities, immigrants, women. Thousands of federal employees right now are unemployed. Our government is in chaos and in disarray. Medicaid, Social Security, CFPB, and the list goes on and on and on. I will not be silenced. I will not be bullied. I will not bend. I will not break. And I will not bow to anyone. No one is above the law, including the President of these United States.
Okay.
And the Office of the Attorney General will continue to stand up.
That's who Donald Trump is afraid of. Intelligence, smart, and tough on this shit that he keeps throwing at folks. You see, he's also upset that she got his ass, that she went through the legal process of prosecuting his criminal ass and got him busted on all the things that he did. This is Fox News carrying the water for him as well. Look at the wording that they use as they're talking about how they're going after her.
Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud. James denies the allegations and says she's being targeted by the Trump administration.
So there are allegations that she did not give proper information on loan documents, possible mortgage documents about primary residence, things that would have given her a better loan system to work with. More favorable terms. She and her attorney are completely denying it. They say this is complete revenge. And listen, presumed innocent. That's a great thing about our system. And an investigation is one thing. Do you get to charges? Do you get to a trial? I don't know. But Democrats have been telling us for years, as they did when she brought charges against President Trump, no one's above the law. You got to work through the process in the system, and we'll see how far it goes with her.
So essentially, she's being charged with something very similar to what she charged Donald Trump for.
Somehow they tried to equate the fact that Letitia James said, we went through the whole process and got your ass. And they somehow think that's the same as Donald Trump saying, I'm accusing you of random things like, the 2 mortgages at the same time. And therefore, because I said so, that's the ruling. It's bypassing the judicial process. In fact, when he started that judicial process, his handpicked attorney, U.S. attorney, said, there's nothing here, bro. There's nothing here. He said, you're fired. Does that sound like going through the system and the process? Pay attention to those charges and listen to this Bloomberg report and who they mentioned did the same thing.
Well, mortgage documents reviewed by Bloomberg News and Out this morning show that the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent entered into a conflicting agreement obligating him to occupy 2 separate homes, one in Massachusetts and the other in New York, as his primary residences. This is from 2007. Both mortgages were signed on the same day and issued by the same lender, Bank of America. One property in Bedford Hills, New York, the other in Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Have you seen them coming after Scott Bessent? I got an even better example of it. Bill Pulte, the guy who started this whole thing, the guy that was put in charge of trying to come with this fraudulent accusations for all of his political enemies that's going to end in nothing, or it'll end in more illegality, more firing of U.S. attorneys that are like, bro, you want me to put my neck and face on the line for this bullshit? This retribution charge? That's what you want me to do? But people like Bill Pulte are willing to do that.
Public officials shouldn't be exempt from scrutiny.
Speaking of that, Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General, running for U.S. Senator, the U.S. Senate, there's at least, it looks like 3 examples, working examples right now of what could be described as alleged mortgage fraud. Is that something you're looking at?
As I said, unless it's something that's either been made public by lawyers like Norm Eisen or in criminal referrals, I'm not going to comment on any specific situation. If things are made public, then or if we decide to make them public, then I will talk about it. But I'm not going to engage in any
make them
specific
public
individuals.
If you made this public?
That's false. First of all, that's another example of Abby Lowell and Norm Eisen politicizing this whole thing. They said that the president tweeted about my tweet. It's nonsense. There was a Bloomberg article about the referral that was out there. OK, so this is all politicization. I am a private sector guy. I came into a government role. I promised to uphold the mortgage market. It's very personal to me. I saw Pulte Homes almost go into bankruptcy in '08. And that's what I view my job as doing every day. And to your other point, it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. We will look at everything. And we are looking at Republicans, Democrats, you name it. If you commit mortgage fraud in this country, and with the resources that we have, we're trying to do as good of a job as we can.
It's weird how Ken Paxton did it. Scott Bessent did it. And for some reason, this hypocritical piece of shit said that we're going after everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, but it does matter if you're a black woman and you've had anything that this president doesn't like that you've done on the up and up, completely legal, and going after his criminal ass. This is fascism front and center. It's right in front of you. It's right in front of you. So next time you see Bill Pulte's face show up anywhere, just know that he's a liar. That he can't go after things that are not public, but I won't make them public.